Holy shit! What the f is this?
Shashamga, my fellow N-words, hope you're all doing well, and today we are going to be talking about why MrBeast does not deserve a platform anymore in light of recent events. Now, I don't think I need to go over the whole timeline given how this whole story has blown up on the internet, so I'm not going to. However, if you for some weird reason do not know what's going on, I'll leave links in the description to both of Dogpack's videos on MrBeast, so that way you can understand what I'm talking about in this video. I'm not gonna lie in saying that this whole MrBeast situation makes me wish we were back in the days of the whole bridge incident.
What a fuck?
One of the most interesting things to see in this whole situation is the reactions people have had. Now, when it comes to the reactions people had when hearing about this whole MrBeast situation, most people have turned against MrBeast. Then you got people choosing to milk the whole situation for views, which, come on, can you really blame them? And then you got a small minority of people choosing to support MrBeast because charity. And when looking at the online discourse around this whole situation, you think MrBeast would be losing a ton of subscribers. However, if you were to look at his social blade, it tells a different story. As we can see here, while there is a lot of people unsubscribing from his channel, you still have enough people subscribing to the point of where it's not going to affect his overall subscriber count. In fact, it is expected to grow. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, well, why is this happening? Like, how come this isn't like other bad YouTubers, where they lose a lot of their audience and are doomed to irrelevancy? Well, this is because while you have a lot of people with fully functional brains choosing to unsubscribe to MrBeast, you have a lot of children who are still subscribing to MrBeast, and a lot of people with brains that aren't so fully developed choosing to stay subscribed to MrBeast. Given what we already know, which has come out that we know to be true, the fact that there is still a lot of children subscribing to MrBeast is very concerning. And because of that, and a ton of other reasons, which I will get to further in the video, I do not believe MrBeast should be allowed to have a platform anymore. Now, before we go further into the video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button because I like it, and also because it's a proven fact that generosity will make you a happier person. So if you're generous enough to hit that subscribe button and the bell beside it, then thank you. Now, with that out of the way, grab yourself a nice, creamy, delicious milkshake, some snacks, and let's jump straight into this.
Watch out! Free Tesla!
One of the worst things a content creator can do to make their audience turn against them is scam their audience. I mean, take Boogie2988 for example. He went from being a manipulative, self-loathing lolcow to becoming a manipulative, scamming, self-loathing lolcow. He's also fat, and scamming his audience was the second to last nail to the coffin for his YouTube career. I mean, for God's sakes, it's literally against YouTube's policies to scam people. However, YouTube's attempts to try and crack down on scamming is comparable to Leslie Headland making a Star Wars TV show that's good. I mean, hell, look at your YouTube page. There's probably an ad for a scam right now. Comment down below how many you find. I'm genuinely curious. Anyways, with that in mind, it was no surprise to see that YouTube's biggest creator was scamming his audience. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, in Dogpack's first video, he talks about how MrBeast scammed his audience by doing illegal lotteries. And what is an illegal lottery, you might ask? It is when you are given the chance to win a prize if you buy something. And given that illegal is in the name, it is also a type of scam. And Dogpack's video had plenty of examples of MrBeast doing this.
The FTC defines a lottery as containing 3 elements: a valuable prize, random chance, and consideration, which can be time or effort, but in most cases is just payment. To successfully run a contest or a sweepstakes, you must eliminate one of these factors. A contest, for example, eliminates chance, and a sweepstakes eliminates consideration. In determining if any MrBeast giveaways have been illegal lotteries, we need to identify a prize, which is distributed through random chance and cannot be won without spending money. On August 2nd, 2020, MrBeast live streamed him and his friends signing limited edition shirts celebrating 40 million subscribers. And here are just some of the clips from that stream.
For those of you who are just joining, if you buy one of our limited edition 40 mil special shirts, we're celebrating 40 million subscribers with a really big video, then we will sign that shirt, and some of them will get random prizes like this. In 10 minutes, right, because we gotta give them time to do their cart, we'll give 2 orders $500 each. 5 minutes, someone's getting $3 grand in their order. In 5 minutes, we're gonna do the same thing again. We're gonna put $1,000 in a random order. 2 minutes, newest order gets $2,000. Good luck, everybody.
It was a 6-hour live stream. They took it down off YouTube, but 5 hours of it are still up on their Facebook page. And during those 5 hours, I counted 46 illegal lotteries.
And there are plenty more examples in Dogpack's video. However, if you want to see those, go watch his video. But do that after watching this one, alright? Because you already clicked on this one, you might as well stick around until the end. Now, given that a majority of MrBeast's audience is literal children, this is not a good look, because this is literally an incredibly shitty thing to do. And MrBeast even knew this because he deleted a lot of these live streams after making them, and he even went on to do more illegal lottery, with him deleting a lot of them right after making them.
There's a big surprise!
But this time it was a 24-hour live stream with way more illegal lotteries. And by the way, the rest of these streams were taken down shortly after upload, so all I have is some old clips and Reddit threads talking about them. Now this stream did say, we are doing a ton of giveaways, no purchase necessary in the description. But to be eligible to win most prizes, you had to make a purchase.
Would you guys prefer, that we throw money in random orders or that we throw items in random orders?
Yeah.
Somebody screamed in chat, I want to switch.
Hey.
Buy a shirt.
In 30 minutes, we are giving away my car to someone that buys merch.
So yeah, I don't want to hear anybody in the comments say, oh, he probably didn't even know he was doing an illegal lottery. Alright, let's say he didn't know he was doing an illegal lottery. He still knew he was doing something wrong, because he literally deleted live streams where he did these illegal lotteries, which just shows he was covering up something he knew was bad because he didn't want to get caught for doing something bad. So yeah, I don't want to hear anybody say that he probably didn't even know what he was doing was wrong. And also, let's not forget the fact that MrBeast's audience is literally mostly children. And let's face it, he knows it. And he most likely knew it when doing this type of scam. If we take that fact and include it with all of what we just talked about, it shows he is literally willing to scam kids, which is beyond fucked up.
One of the common complaints we see in threads about this live stream are that they only signed large t-shirts, so when they selected an order to give a prize, it was apparently always a large or extra large t-shirt. They kept saying things like, buy in the next 15 minutes for a chance to win, and then not honoring it. Multiple people claiming that their name was read to win a prize and they never received it. This person is still tweeting about it to this day. Now, there's a lot more people complaining about the deceptive sales tactics. Reading all this really upsets me because I spent money I honestly didn't have for 5 shirts at different times during the live when they said things like buy now and you will get prize or money. And I received 2 orders and nothing but shirt, both with MB and one with a heart and one with a smiley. I was hoping for at least a couple things for Christmas for my family. Now, this commenter also goes on to explain that she's disabled, has PTSD. Lotteries and scams specifically target vulnerable populations like that. I'm disappointed. My son bought a signed shirt and was so excited. He watched the live stream and saw that people who bought would receive $100. He was excited to win something and be a part of his favorite streamer, MrBeast. When the shirt arrived, he was grinning from ear to ear. When he realized that there was no $100, he was visibly disappointed. He said nothing other than, I guess he meant everyone except me. He loves his shirt, but I'm really upset seeing him hurt. And obviously people can lie on the internet, but a lot of people are independently claiming the same things. Like that at the end of the live stream, they said they were putting $100 in every order.
Now, I know this might be a bold statement, but I personally don't believe that the largest YouTuber should be a person who literally is okay with scamming kids, nor do I think he should be allowed to have a platform at all because of this.
Take the picture for the thumbnail.
Please don't give me anymore, please.
Did you get it?
Another thing to come out during this whole MrBeast situation is how a lot of the contestants in his competitions endure not only a lot of physical injuries, but mental injuries as well. With one of the most prime examples, no pun intended, being seen in what has come out while he was making his TV show for Amazon Prime, where it was revealed that during some of the physical competitions for this show, Jimmy did not do anything to make it fair for the female contestants who were competing against males who literally have a physical advantage over women in these type of competitions. And due to this failure to regulate this type of competition, some men took advantage of their physical advantage they had over the women, which resulted in a lot of female contestants receiving severe injuries during this competition. The nurses that worked for the hospital that these women went to literally talked about it. Then there's this other instance that Dogpack talked about in his most recent video on MrBeast, where while it is alleged, I am inclined to believe what Jake Weddle went through because of how he recounts the whole thing. It just comes across as very genuine. However, it is still an allegation, so take it with a grain of salt. Anyways, in Dogpack's video, Jake Weddle talked about how he was chosen to star in a MrBeast video where he was challenged to stay in solitary confinement for 100 days. And for every day he spent in solitary confinement, he got $10,000. And along with that, it wouldn't be a regular cell where people who actually go through solitary confinement stay in. No, it would be a nice room where, along with it being a very nice room, it had many nice amenities with things like a ice cream machine and a hot tub. And as the challenge went on, he had to get rid of something, with the people who called him asking him to do this saying that it wasn't going to be super bad until the very end. The people who called him also made it seem like that this wasn't actually going to be like solitary confinement, it was actually going to be like a vacation. And the only real hell that Jake would have went through was towards the end of the challenge, where the room would have been empty due to him having to give a lot of things up. Now, because this sounds incredibly easy, and because Jake is like anyone else in this situation, he said yes. However, once Jake got there, it appears that MrBeast took some inspiration from the people who ran Fire Festival because everything was not what it was hyped up to be. In fact, the experience that Jake went through was so bad that instead of lasting 100 days, he only lasted 10 days. This was because, for one, the room smelled very bad due to the septic tank the room used having a lot of issues to where it made the room smell. Along with that, the hot tub had issues to where it made the room smell, and along with that, the ice cream machine also made the room smell. Because while it was off, you just had a bunch of dairy sitting in there, which after a while will smell really bad, and it will definitely stink up a room. So yeah, the room smelled absolutely awful. It probably smelled worse than how I imagine Illuminati's room to smell. Actually, I take that back. Given how that room looks, I doubt it smelled that bad. Anyways, along with the room smelling absolutely vile, the LED lights that the room used were on 24/7, which made it very hard for Jake to sleep, and despite how many times he pleaded with MrBeast's crew to turn them off so that way he could get some sleep, they did not do so for a long time. However, because they wouldn't turn off the lights and he wasn't able to get any sleep, this caused him to experience sleep deprivation, which is when a person is forcefully deprived of sleep. And this can be so damaging to a person that it is considered a human rights violation under the Geneva Convention. However, considering this video wasn't filmed in Geneva, how can it really be a human rights violation? Nah, but in all seriousness, if what Jake is saying is true, this means that MrBeast is so desperate to be the best YouTuber that he is literally willing to commit human rights violations for content. I don't think I need to explain how that's bad.
Pretty serious?
Willing to die for MrBeast and $5 million bucks. So here's the whole article. I'm going to read a synopsis kind of the main beats here. Daylight sleeping conditions. Contestants were expected to sleep during daylight hours on the stadium floor. That's fucked up.
Yeah, for the days
during
they
the
were
heat
filming.
In the sun?
It sounds like it. Well, Allegiant, it's a brand new stadium. That's that big one that's right by the strip. I'm sure you've seen it.
Oh, yeah.
You're all just sitting there asleep.
And I believe it has a dome. Yeah, it does.
It's indoor.
Yeah. But, well...
I don't know if you can AC that.
I don't know if it's...
Carnivore Guy will fix that.
Well, moreover, it's like the middle of the day, like...
In Vegas.
Yeah.
And I don't know, a week or two ago, it was like 120 degrees there, actually. But wait, how do they keep that place from just turning into a greenhouse, though? It's got to be monster
maybe they
AC
don't.
Units.
I haven't been there, so I don't know how good the AC is.
Well, either way, sleeping during the daytime is tough. The stadium's environment made it difficult for contestants to get adequate rest during the day due to exposure to sunlight noise.
Oh, even if what Jake is saying is true, how could the crew have really known that what they were doing was a human rights violation? Well, good thing that Jake talked about how one of the people on set joked with him about how what they were doing to him was a war crime that we don't do on terror.
Not turning the lights off. He goes, what? That's a war crime. We're not allowed to do that, terrorists. Oh, good. 24 hours breaking the Geneva Convention, I guess.
Now, some of you are probably wondering how bad the sleep deprivation he allegedly went through was. Well, if what he's saying is true, then he believes that it could have been where his insomnia problem started. Now, they eventually turned off the lights, and he was able to get some sleep. However, when he was able to sleep, Jimmy just barged into the room and wake him up so that way he could convince him to do some stupid challenge because he wants to keep his mostly child audience entertained. And the challenges he was given were he had to either solve a Rubik's Cube or run a marathon on a treadmill, and if he were to complete either challenge, he would get an extra $10,000. Now, because he was extremely tired, he did not feel mentally fit to solve a Rubik's Cube, and he also didn't want to go on the treadmill because he was super tired. However, he felt kind of forced into choosing one of the challenges by Jimmy, so because of that, he ended up choosing one of the challenges, and that challenge he chose was running on the treadmill. And he ended up completing the challenge. However, his feet ended up having severe blisters. In addition to that, he also faced some of the negative effects that solitary confinement could cause, and along with everything else, it became too much for him, and after the on-site psychologist told Jimmy that Jake couldn't do it anymore, they ended up ending the challenge early. And while everybody was comforting Jake because they all saw how this experience really messed him up, MrBeast, instead of being concerned for him, asked him to pretend to be happy for the camera when he's receiving the money so that way Jimmy could get some of that good old-fashioned content. Eventually, Jake ended up doing so, and he was able to get some of the money. However, despite all the pain he went through, the video was not posted because of unknown reasons, and instead, this video was posted. And if I were to guess why that video wasn't posted, it was most likely because it would have been very disturbing, because it would have been a red room for the surface web, because of the fact we'd literally be watching a man be tortured. Now, when it comes to the first thing I talked about, it literally shows that MrBeast is willing to harm contestants to keep the audience entertained. Now, I know some of you are probably going to say that, oh, it's possible that Jimmy couldn't have foreseen people getting hurt like that in that type of event. Now, let me just say that when setting up a competition like that, that is something that will definitely come to mind, because it is a well-known fact that when it comes to physical competitions like that, due to the biology of men, there is a natural advantage for men. This is one of the reasons that it is so controversial to have transgender women compete in an all-women's league. And given the amount of time that goes into making these shows, I highly doubt that Jimmy didn't think that would be an issue. And even at the very small chance Jimmy didn't know this could happen, why didn't he stop it earlier? Do you want to know why I think he didn't stop earlier? Well, it's probably because he thought it would make some good content. Overall, both of these things that came out go to show that MrBeast is willing to put people in harm's way for content, to the point where they either end up in the hospital, or, if Jake's story is to be believed, to the point of where he's okay with committing a human rights violation for content. And given that we know that the hospital stuff actually happened, that is another reason I believe Jimmy should not have a platform, because it shows that he literally is willing to put his contestants in harm's way for content.
Today, I just bought this entire hospital.
Finally, we talk about the worst thing that has come out of this whole MrBeast situation, and the main reason I believe MrBeast should not have a platform anymore. That being, MrBeast employed a portable data file, knowing what this portable data file did. He even knew this portable data file was on the registry for a crime he committed on an 11-year-old girl, and MrBeast still chose to keep him as an employee. This employee was called Delaware, and he worked as a behind-the-scenes manager for MrBeast. And it was alleged that in Dogpack's video, everyone called him Delaware because the crime he committed was so bad that he was not allowed in Delaware anymore. Along with that, MrBeast allowed him to be in videos, and because he didn't want anyone finding out who Delaware was and what he did, Jimmy made him wear a mask for the videos he was in, which just shows that MrBeast knew how fucked up it was to have an employee like Delaware working for him. It was later found out that Delaware was Jake the Viking's brother-in-law, and he confirmed that Delaware worked for MrBeast and that Jimmy knew everything about Delaware. The only thing Jake said was not true was that Delaware wasn't called Delaware because he was not allowed in Delaware. He was only called Delaware because that was the state he was from. He then went on to defend his disgusting brother-in-law and said that he changed and that he's not the same person who he was when he committed that crime, which I do not believe for a second, because people like Delaware do not change. And I also call on Jake saying that this 11-year-old girl lied, because I refuse to believe that anyone could confuse an 11-year-old girl for a 16-year-old. Now, this video is not about Jake the Viking. However, because I don't like this pile of trash, Jake, you are a hypocritical PDF file enabling piece of garbage. And that's all I'll say about Jake the Viking, because this video is not about him, it's about MrBeast. What makes this situation incredibly frustrating is that MrBeast knows that his audience is primarily made up of children. Him allowing someone like Delaware to be under his employment, knowing that his main demographic is kids, is not only vile, but incredibly irresponsible. There is a reason these type of people have a hard time finding employment when on the registry, and that is because of the risk they pose to the safety of children. Even if it is very unlikely they are to actually do something to a child, it is a risk an employer never wants to take, especially when you are an employer for a YouTube channel that's demographic is mostly made up of children. The fact that MrBeast took that risk by hiring Delaware, who I would argue is more of a risk than other PDF files, given that he committed his crime on a child who did not even have teen in their age, is not only disgusting, but it shows that MrBeast does not give a shit about the safety of children. If MrBeast cared about the safety of children, he would have fired that piece of human filth the second he found out. But instead, he was more concerned about people finding out what kind of person Delaware was, instead of caring about the safety of children by firing that piece of garbage. And anyone that is willing to put the safety of children like that at risk does not deserve a platform, especially the biggest platform on this website. Given that MrBeast has scammed his audience, mostly made up of children, is willing to have people harmed from foreseeable incidents that could occur during his competitions for content, and for not caring about the safety of children, knowing that his audience is mostly made up of children, I do not believe he should be allowed to have a platform anymore, especially the most subscribed to YouTube platform on this website. Honestly, despite this stuff coming out a while ago, this is all still just very shocking, especially when it comes to the Delaware stuff. But then again, I don't know why I'm so surprised still, because MrBeast has associated with other dangers to children in the past, like Chris Tyson, who bought lollipop art from an artist who drew Keemstar's daughter in a disgusting fashion. Along with that, Chris also had inappropriate conversations with minors. Then there's also Sneeko, a cuck who advocates for lowering the age of consent, which, yeah, for those who didn't know, he used to be in MrBeast videos before he started sucking Andrew Tate's cock. I'm not only disgusted in MrBeast, but I'm also just disappointed in him, because with all the information that's come out, it's possible he faked a lot of the good things he's done for the world. However, based on what we do know, the kind of person he is behind the scenes is not only disgusting, but disappointing.